Should there be a lockdown in Ghana because of coronavirus? What will be the effects on the economy and what will be the surviving strategy? We are seated to discuss this on Bloggers Forum as some celebrities have joined the call for a lockdown whilst others are against it. Also, there is a wild jubilation following the legalization of cannabis for health and industrial purposes. My name is Benefo Boabin Abrantipa. Welcome to Bloggers Forum on Ghana Web TV. Welcome back to Bloggers Forum on Ghana Web TV. Before I introduce my guest, let's have a conversation with Mauli. Mauli is with the business desk here at Ghana Web, and he's our Corona ambassador. That's how we call him. Let's get some insight what it means to be on a lockdown, right? So, Mauli, if we are going on a lockdown, what does it mean?
So simply a lockdown means an emergency state protocol to restrict persons from moving, even sometimes, in some cases, to even restrict information. So for us to go into a lockdown, I think it's going to take a lot, I mean, particularly in a Ghanaian context, because we don't have certain social interventions to even help us. I'm aware the finance minister is doing an impact assessment of a possible lockdown, how much it's going to cost us to even go into a lockdown. So I think there's a lot more to go into before we even think of even locking down.
What does it take?
It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of social interventions. It takes a lot of thought process. I mean, we have to shut down a lot of things. We have to shut down our transport network. We have to shut down our markets. We have to shut down the livelihoods of people, and it's going to take a lot from, because we largely have an informal sector that thrives on a lot of what we call hand to mouth here. So it's going to be very difficult for them because to ask people to stay home for 3 days, especially persons who work in the informal sector for 3 days, it's quite a very difficult, because they rely on what they sell in a day. So to institute a lockdown for a day, 3 days or a week is going to take a large toll on them.
India is on lockdown. Which other country is on lockdown?
So far, South Africa is on lockdown, France is on lockdown, Belgium is on lockdown, Italy, Spain, Germany, UK is on a partial lockdown. US, some parts of the US are also on a partial lockdown. Yeah, so, and Rwanda as well is also on a lockdown.
Okay, but what have analysts been saying? Let's limit it to Ghana. What are they saying?
Okay, so particularly during this week, there's been a lot of conversations, and some analysts think that we need, before we even make the decision to go into a lockdown, we need to apply it into the Ghanaian context. And they say that, some experts say that it's very difficult to make such a decision, but it's an inevitable decision to make, because right now we have to contain the spread of the virus. So it's going to be very difficult for us to just ask people to just be at home, but it's going to cost us a lot of money, actually. I mean, the actual figure hasn't come out, but even from the tourism sector, yesterday, a few days ago, the sector minister said they are looking at losing close to $171 million. So that's just one sector. So for us to put everything into the entire economy is going to take, I'm sure it's going to take a lot more than that. So.
Okay, so for those who have been calling for a lockdown and people who are actually against the debate or a suggestion for the country to be on lockdown, the President of the Republic, Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has been speaking about it. He says your concerns are well noted and his government will take the necessary decision very soon.
Whatever we do, people are talking now in Ghana about a lockdown, this and that. The majority of people who will be affected by decisions of that nature are the working people of our country, the ordinary people of Ghana. They're the ones who will be most affected. And it is important for us, when we're taking these decisions, to take into account their circumstances and conditions. You're going to lock down Accra. what are the consequences? Going to lock down the country, what are the consequences? Or particular areas of the country. A government, a responsible government, is required to look at all the implications before decisions are made. And that is the exercise on which we're currently engaged. And I'm hoping that much sooner than later we will come to an agreement within government of what those measures are. And then the Ghanaian people will be informed.
So you heard the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, explaining what his government has been doing about the possible lockdown, or yes, the possible lockdown. Joining me on the show today is Alexander Fifi Abaka. And for those who are very active on social media, any post that he makes is hashtag Zeda flip some corn granules in the air. I don't know whether he has some granules today on him. Zeda, welcome. Thank you. Zeda is with GhanaNyum.com. What did you buy?
The granite farm is closed because we are on lockdown.
Oh, I see. So, okay. And Daniel Dro is with us here, Ghana Web. He's actually the editor, GhanaWeb.com. Danny, welcome.
My pleasure.
Right. So, Zeda, you ready for a lockdown?
Personally, I am, but I can't think for myself alone. I am just 0.1% of the public, like the whole general population, and the rest of the Ghanaian population. If you know what is going on in their lives and how they live their lives, you wouldn't even open your mouth and just mention that word lockdown. Because if you know how they live their lives from hand to mouth, how they get their foodstuffs, how they survive on a daily basis, far from it. Maybe we'll just have to shoot all of us to Mars, then we'll just go and live on Mars. When the coronavirus is over, then we import everyone back to planet Earth.
Danny, the argument from people who are against the lockdown, same as Zeda is making, the fact that many Ghanaians they live on hand-to-mouth basis, and something that the president actually said. How do we weigh, the options and then choose the best one for us? Because as it stands, we've entered 3 decades in our account of the number of cases, and the question: should we go on lockdown? Let's go. We shouldn't. We should stay. How do we weigh the options?
It's a very difficult place to be for any country and for any leader at this particular point in time. The first thing you need to know and you need to understand is that human lives must be above every other consideration. However, the decision to go on lockdown or not should never be an emotional decision. It should be a decision backed by data, backed by statistics, and backed by sound reasoning. So yes, other countries have introduced lockdowns in their jurisdictions, and there are different levels of successes in terms of whether or not it has helped in preventing the spread of the coronavirus. And that is why I feel that if we decide as a country that we need to go on lockdown, then the powers that be should have assembled every possible information that they need to make that decision. For now, we have the virus in only 2 or 3 regions across the country. Would it be necessary to lock down the entire country, or would it be necessary to lock down parts of the country? So the dynamics are different for every other country, and we need to take that into consideration when making that decision. Unfortunately, this has brought to the fore the fact that we don't have enough data on the people that we say we are serving. If we did have that data, it would have been easy to make that decision. Again, the decision to lock down or not is a financial exercise and decision. When you lock down, it comes at a cost. Do we have that money? If we don't have that money, can we get it somewhere else? If we can, how soon can we get it? All of that will play into the decision we make. But ultimately, human lives must be above every other consideration. So if a lockdown will save lives per what the experts say, then by all means let's lock down and damn the consequences.
Zeda, your argument is solely on the fact that people who may not have the financial, a good financial background to, actually cope when there is a lockdown. But here is the case: if the situation gets worse, we would definitely have to do that.
Definitely have to.
At what point? Now that we are around 136, we have been told that we should expect the numbers to increase because of how the curve is. It has to increase before it goes down. At what point would we have to?
That have been quarantined and all that. I am looking at by mid-April. I'm looking at about 1,000.
1,000 before we lock down?
No, not 1,000 before we lock down, like the infected. Because you realize that the people that have been quarantined, it wasn't as if all of them came at the exact time. There were some who came in and they weren't even screened that well and they were just allowed to go. So I'm looking at it increasing. But when we hear the call for the lockdown, a lot of people have been taking their time to watch what is going on outside Ghana, in the US, in the UK, Belgium, Spain, Italy. Like, look at the way their economy is. Look at how they structure stuffs. This is a country developed though. We are, should I even use, we are now developing, underdeveloped, whichever term, but we are not there. The basic necessities that we need, the electricity, the internet, water, even healthcare, all these things, there are question marks, there are holes in all other directions. Like, we don't even have it. And once you mention the lockdown, the panic that will come alone. But with all this, the people at the top there needs to really find a good solution to all this. How would the people survive? Fine. There are others who are saying that it's best to lose some than to lose everyone. So the earlier the better. It's best to lose some than to lose all. So the earlier the better. But honestly, somehow I'm even confused, because whatever happens, it's going to affect me as well. Maybe I might not know a family member who is somewhere, but whatever it is, it would happen. And already, I think the Kwewu Council, they've issued a letter that they are on a lockdown. So I think the partial lockdown will help, but how soon? Partial
lockdown meaning where specific places?
The regions okay, that would be affected.
Meaning Accra and Ashanti.
Yeah, it should be done as quickly as possible. And it should be done in such a way that it wouldn't like create that panic for everybody to be forced, okay, then I'm running out of Accra. Because it could be that some of the infected, or the infected could even be there. And you know, this thing takes 14 days. And even the 14 days, it doesn't really guarantee. Someone's saying it should go 17 before you be able to really know that, okay, this person is infected or not. So I think this lockdown thing, thinking it should be partial for where the number of infected has increased, or even if it's just one, it should be in that region. It can't be the whole country.
I see.
It can't be the whole country.
Okay, so some people have actually been sharing their views. We hit the streets to talk to the market women, the people on the street who arguably will be the people who feel the heat, supposing there is a lockdown in the country right now. And this is what they have to say.
I saw a ban with me, Pescamae. Say, yeah, for na yen be near to me, the beer then, Editcha, Eddie Sigum. So, bread 5 minutes, 5 minutes, one. Say, sweat betting that share how far.
Send it, and I was seeing in a bomb on the near manager.
Ghana had the yen some pension because Ghana had no sadia china so one qua, then a pass, so be did.
Your wedding and Sunny, did any good man for car? You see, it's going to be answer one. You can't say you could do with you.
Kakra medie. Anya you be say and when say who buya gallon in who buya. Ube wubu ni na be wi na we dey 5 cedis. Me dear and family ye lock ne and you mire you cry upon ye see a lock am me dey mepen.
Those are the views of some Ghanaians on the lockdown. You had one trader asking for 500 cedis to be given to, you know, the populace so that they will be able to buy some things for themselves. That's if the country is going to be on lockdown. I mean, clearly it shows that some people are actually living on hand-to-mouth basis. But is this feasible, Danny? That the government would, because I've seen people argue that, you know, with communities where there are no limited toilet facilities. We can do the mobile one instead of all of them going to pile up there. And this suggestion also, like government should be giving food, you know, let's start eating with the woman calling for 500 cedis. You know, how feasible is this?
Like I said earlier on, it's a financial exercise, and it's all got to do with the numbers and the statistics. If you do know how many people are vulnerable and poor and cannot go 2 weeks without working on a daily basis to get their daily bread, then you can do a little mathematics and say it's going to cost me, say, $1 million to implement down that in over 2 weeks. Unfortunately, we don't have that data, and you don't want a situation where people take advantage of that social intervention to enrich themselves. So it's a difficult decision to make. However, it is incumbent on all of us. If you and I have a family relative or a relative who is poor, needy, it is incumbent on us to reach out. Isn't it an indictment on us as a country that we cannot go on lockdown for 2 weeks and people cannot survive because they don't have savings that takes them beyond 1 day? It's a big problem. But we have to look at the numbers. People collect data every time. We have the census, people collecting data each and every time. We had this LEAP empowerment, the LEAP project, or the LEAP initiative. If we were doing that accurately, we would have known roughly how many people are poor, because that livelihood empowerment project was supposed to give money to people who are poor. And these are the people who are supposed to be captured when we decide to go on lockdown. So we would have known the figures. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that we do have the figures. So is it possible? It will be possible if we had the money. Should we find the money? Yes, but where are we going to find the money? Look, when you and I draw our budget for the month, and I am driving a car and it breaks down without me expecting it, I need to go and take money from elsewhere to come and solve that problem, because keeping the car running is important. Keeping the country running and the citizens alive is important. So if we do know the numbers, and I've heard the finance minister trying to put a paper in parliament to say this is how much it's going to cost us, etc., etc. If we are sure that we can find the money, let's find the money and help these people. If it is 2 weeks, then yes, we will do. I think by and large we have managed this situation better than a lot of countries have, especially on the African continent. So I'm not expecting a lot of spike in the coming days, because more than 60% of the 136 we have now are coming from the people who are under mandatory quarantine, which means you are not having a lot of lateral and vertical, if you like, spread of the disease. And it is a good initiative that the president says those people who came in before the borders and the airports were closed should be looked for and screened and tested. So I am not expecting a lot of hype. That is why I think the government is being very cautious in implementing a lockdown, because there are a lot of vulnerable people. And yes, let's find the money if we have the means. But look, the government even says they are now going to solicit for that 100 million they projected to help in the fight. It is up to big companies in this country who have been successful over the years, who have benefited from the Ghanaian people, to also help. There are rich people in this country. It is incumbent on them to also help and not only depend on government to implement this. Because if one person gets it, it doesn't matter how well you take care of yourself. Somebody can get it, and by no fault of theirs, they're going to transmit it to you. So let's do a lot of consultation before we take that decision. It is possible. Anything is possible under the sun, but you need to know a lot of information, have a lot of data, a lot of statistics before you can take any decision.
Right, and I must say that there are quite a number of hints on a possible lockdown. I saw a post from Eugene Ahin, who is director of communication at the presidency, quoting some part of the Bible where people were asked to be in their rooms and then lock their rooms. So there's nothing possible under the sun. That's actually I don't know whether Danny has also cited that, but that's how come he said that. But you know, the Nana Kumia, former communications director of the MPP, he has been arguing that of course India, of a population of about 1.3 billion, has people who are poorer than Ghanaians and they are on lockdown. So the argument for the argument against the lockdown is neither here nor there. Just opposing that with the vox pop that you just viewed.
One thing that we also need to look at is it's not just about what people are going to eat. It's not just what you are going to eat. Your daily activity, you wash down, you use the washroom, you brush your teeth. Like, all those stuff, are they going to be supplied to everyone? Those are the things. And in a community, even Accra here, there are certain places in Accra, they don't have consistent water supply. Medina, there's Lakeside Estate, Kwabenya, Dome. These are stuff that they are always complaining about. So, okay, so there's a lockdown. The water that you have, how long will it last? 1 week? 2 days? 3 days? Okay, your food supplies are exhausted. How do you get some? I know with Belgium, I have a friend who is in Belgium, so with them, they are given the chance in the same community that you are. You don't move like some kilometers away. Within the same community, there's a shop. You are able to like purchase stuff that you need there. Like this thing is planning. So as quickly as possible, if they can plan, the spread of this thing can be kept as quickly as possible. It shouldn't be the normal social media and the talk and the sharing of unnecessary messages and what was the other one that came? There's a hair in the Bible, so you pick the hair and you mix it up. This is not the time to be sharing those kind of information. This is when you need to put the people that you voted for on their toes. Whether you voted for NPP or NDC, the government in power is supposed to make sure the citizenry is well. So it's not time to be fighting for, okay, you need to vote for, you need to make sure it is your people who are better. No. It is the citizenry. And also, the one thing you should notice, when it comes to this whole issue, the aged, and also those who are in the hospitals as well, how are they going to be taken care of? Because if you say a lockdown, lockdown means everybody should stay at home. Wherever you are, you should stay there. So those who are in the health sector as well, we shouldn't just be thinking of the people who will be in their homes and how to survive. Those who are in the health sector, those who are in the security services, how are they also being cared for? Because I think when I was moving out today, the Uber driver was like, hey, it's been a while he saw the police on the street. It's like everyone is scared. So are we going to like say lockdown and just live like the whole society to like survive on their own? Everyone needs to be taken care of. It's not because you are working under government or you are providing service, so you are also going to put your health, your life at risk. Like it's a whole planning thing, and all hands need to be on deck. Whether you are in government or in your position, this is the time that you need to apply your brains and bring the best of knowledge to bear. Don't be there and be waiting or be praying for disaster to strike. Then you'll be like, oh, we could have done it this way. So as you score your political points, it won't work. Okay. You should remember, when the people die, who are you going to govern over?
It takes me to a tweet I saw. You know, the some people are doing donations.
Yeah, the giveaways.
Yeah, so there was a tweet I saw, and the person was like, they will not tell Dangote to emulate what others are doing, but all they want to tell him is that the dead person doesn't buy cement. So dead people do not vote. I mean, this is the time to take the decision, and obviously it's time to take a break here. When we return, cannabis has been legalized for industrial and health purposes. I don't know why the director of the show is jubilating behind the camera, but we'll be back and we'll do this discussion. Welcome back to Bloggers Forum on Ghana Web TV. We will zoom straight into our next discussion, and Parliament has legalized cannabis for health and industrial purposes. The law now makes the country's Narcotics Control Board a commission with enhanced powers to oversee the industrial use of some narcotic substances. The commission, however, will have the mandate to control and eliminate the trafficking of prohibited narcotic drugs to ensure public safety. Now, in previous times, we've seen a number of celebrities campaigning for the legalization of cannabis, if for nothing at all, for industrial and health purposes. We know the likes of Black Rasta, Raskuku, Osajifo, all these people have been calling for it. And finally, Samini, yes, finally, the law has been passed. How will this benefit the economy? And I don't know whether it's long overdue. Danny, is it?
Yes, I think it's long overdue. Sometimes we are too immersed in our religious and, if you like, yeah, let's stick with religious inklings, and we make decisions based on those things. But you see, the only thing that is constant in this life is change, and the world is changing, and you have to change and adapt with the times. So yes, it's better late than never, but education must be up there because people are confusing it. The fact that it's been legalized for commercial or for health and medicinal purposes does not mean that we're saying go and smoke in public and it is okay. It is not okay. That is not the import of the legalization. Like you mentioned, it means the NACOP that we know has been given extra powers. It becomes what a commission now, and they can supervise. And this the one that has been legalized is what we call the licit drug, or the licit form of the weed, and not the illicit one. And the illicit form has only what 0.3% of what they call the HTC, the hydrotetra cannabinol. I don't know if I got the pronunciation right, but it has only 3% of it, as against 75% of what is contained in the illicit drug. That's what, when you smoke, makes you hyper and makes you do all the things that you don't want to do. So let's get the education right. This is long overdue in terms of how it benefits our economy and how we're able to create even jobs for people. I mean, reading about it, this can be used to do jute bags, clothes, etc., which means it can create a different economy altogether, and not the smoking and doing silly things with it. So yes, in terms of government looking for revenue and trying to find avenues to, if you like, create jobs, because there are a lot of jobless youth in the country, this is good. And it's also adds up to the rest of Africa, a couple of African countries who are coming on board and trying to see the benefits and the wisdom in passing this kind of law. So yes, long overdue. It is good. I'm sure those who have campaigned for it are happy, but they should ensure that the education is right, and let's not get it twisted at all.
I see. Zena, is it a good move?
It is. Just that the timing was quite bad, because this thing was way there. You knew its purpose. You could have done it much earlier. At least you could have solved some of our problems that we're having pertaining to unemployment, and even could be exported as well, just as it was agreed to be used for medicinal purpose. My only issue is the people of influence who are misinforming everyone. I saw Kwakese do a video. It was like, it's finally here. Yebesho. And when he's smoking and the police officer sees him, you tell the police officer he's sick, he's using it for medicinal purpose. I'm like, yo, bro, you had a problem already. You get me? Quote unquote bad influence. Like your name and the weed, it doesn't go like together. You are arrested for it. You came out to come and say it's no good and all. So now that it's been legalized, you should even go in further and ask, oh, which part of it? You didn't even take your time to read, and you're already making videos. One problem, you're already misinforming people. So people who think that, oh, what he's saying is true, they'll also go and do their own thing.
And then be smoking.
So it's like the people who have influence are rather doing the wrong thing. So it's fine. They say if you want to hide something from a black man, just put it in a book. And true. It's manifesting. The thing, you've read the headline, go in deeper and read. You didn't read, you just read the headline and you were excited. and you are doing whatever. This is the problem that we have with these kind of things. That is how come they even have a problem with legalizing it. You get me? They will justify it. They'll be like, aha, have you said it? Even if the 75% portion was even going to be legalized, this is the kind of things that they'll be like, oh, even 0.3, 0.3. Look at how people are happy and all that, but better late than never. But one more thing is the people who tend to have the power over it, the Narcotic Control Board, they shouldn't also like give the power to just anybody. It's going to be used for medicinal purpose. Even with that one, it's still not safe enough. You know, with corruption and all that, anybody can just go and pay some. Oh, I have the legal backing to be able to. They can have the legal backing and still be doing other stuff. So they still need to put in extra measures to know that, okay, whoever we are giving the power to, whoever we are giving the legal authority to use it for that medicinal purpose. Because outside, you need to, it's a prescription. Yeah. Even with that one, even as strict as they are, people still find loopholes. And coming down to Ghana, that we have corruption issues, there needs to be extra measures put in place, because I wouldn't want my loved one to have a bad habit of being a user of the illegal portion of even the medicinal. It's not everyone who will be able to use that 0.35% and be able to like act normal. Like act normal. Yeah. Even 0.01 cry, even alcohol cry people drink 0.2 cry. Still misbehaving. So we just need to, and I feel we are always lacking education in Ghana. Everything, education. They need to educate the NCC, you know.
NCC, if you will, they will quote. They have a budget which
it's like education, but so anything, people just read the headline.
Feed on headlines.
They won't go into details. Then it will spread like wildfire. They will just read headlines. It will spread like wildfire. By the time you will be able to like educate them now, boneno, it's too bad. So I think the education of it, and also they should be strict on it. They should know who they are giving the power to.
Right. So talking about the celebrities who have been misinforming their followers, Samini has a video, and in the video he talks about what really it means for this passage, and what the youth who think the green light has been given for them to smoke need to know.
So you see, you legalize it in Tampa or Ghana, na enon chese you see obianko krumu na onso wi na on shio. Kona na wo tete no, mene wa kebianka. Mehwe na matete hwa na ma spy na ma train emrepa. Because she the man for she dada ansa na the law way eba. Law way beba besia kona man for that so shit. Enti no men fa law no enti nkojina police ni enim en son Tampio. Na yebeti watu yen ekuafo no yen ekuafo no ene a doctor for omo woni ndia omo de yen hwehwemu ne ade ene marketing for ni business for omo nim economics ene kwae be fa so yede nya emfaso wo ye free hwa na bia yebe move to so de ebe yen hwehwemu ahwe kwan a ebe ma amanfo etuni use no ewo emra kwan so what I say utini anyena ketwa medi tumu ama no.
Right, so that's Samini educating the youth. So on anyone'ka maybe out why blaze no better ho on Trinity mete. But I don't know, there's this thing about celebrities and how they educate their followers. With this Kwakese thing that you cited, I remember last time we were having a conversation on coronavirus, and I was asking myself if the celebrities who will be appointed as ambassadors really have, you know, the education to educate the people. Now, here is a whole celebrity misinforming the people. How do we get it right? Of course, you've mentioned the book thing, but what really is the problem?
Well, the bad news has already gone, so we just need to fix it with a good one. We should just let people know the health implications that 75% that illicit portion of it can have on you. It's not just about being high and just doing haywire things. You just need your health. Your health is wealth. Even smoking, the smoke going in you, like there are images of people who smoke, their lungs and all that. These are certain things that can be used to explain to people that it's not about the fun of it to be high and go high in the sky, as they always say, but it's about thinking of your health. Health as well. If you die, it's not just gonna affect you alone, it's gonna affect everyone. And we need everyone alive. We all serve different purposes. No matter how useless you feel you are, you definitely serve a purpose on this earth. So it's best to like avoid certain things. If you have a health problem, and if it is marijuana that is going to help, the health professionals would know which percentage of it to give to you. Don't prescribe it for yourself.
But you've dodged my question.
Oh, Bibian Hano, it's just misinformation, lack of understanding, or a nipa, or a mistake. So definitely, when he gets to know the right information, he will definitely take his time. I don't think he would, Kwakese has children, I don't think he would tell his kids to go and smoke. So most definitely, he'll get to a point, he would sit back and ask himself, is the information I'm giving out right? Because you are being a role model one way or the other. So he will definitely come to understanding that maybe he's not doing it the right way. There will definitely be a change.
Then is there a need for people who misinform their followers to do something to, correct the mistake?
Of course. I mean, when you showed the Samini video, I was impressed because initially he had made not a video but a post to suggest that there have been many times he's been harassed by the police because he was wearing dreadlocks. And the assumption is that if you are wearing dreadlocks, then it means you smoke, etc., etc. And police have had on several occasions to search his car and harassed him. So he was happy that it's been legalized. That instance, he was misinforming everybody because that legalization had nothing to do with those who smoke the substance. It's got to do with medicinal purposes and commercial use, like use for fiber and clothes, etc., etc., which is going to create employment for people, and not just smoking. I am all against smoking. While it is illegal, it is also imperative to tell people that even if you decide to smoke, which I am against, you need to know that an abuse of any other thing is wrong. An abuse of paracetamol is wrong. And so if you decide to smoke, don't abuse it. If you decide to smoke in the comfort of your home, while I am against it, it is up to you because it has health implications. People drink, people smoke, and even the smoke, the write on it is harmful to your health, and yet people are smoking. So that is your prerogative. However, it is totally unacceptable for celebrities and role models to misinform anybody. And it is our duty as journalists, as gatekeepers and media people, to call people to order when they are misinforming their audience. There are young people who are gullible and just follow blindly. And so when we see that people are misinformed their public, it is up to us to call them to order. So yes, I am happy in a way that Samini has come back to correct himself and is telling the young folks that if you want to smoke, stay in your corner and smoke, and don't go and stand in front of the police, display your ignorance and say that, oh, you're legalizing because it's not been legalized. You are going to be thrown into jail because until such a time that it is made legal, it is not legal, and when you smoke it, you're going to be arrested. And look, all these celebrities belong to one association or the other. It is up to them, those associations, to educate their people. In the era of social media, everybody wants to be heard and be the first to react to a certain thing. That is all fine and well, but don't go and display your ignorance to the rest of the world, because when you do that over time, your value diminishes, and the next time you say something meaningful, nobody takes you seriously. I know there's a Hem Association of Ghana. They should go on a campaign and educate people. Nanajima is my friend. I'll call him and tell him that he should go on and should use the contact he has in the media to go on platform, because he will be given the opportunity to educate the Rasta folks and those who are not even Rastafarians and yet smoke or use cannabis in one way or the other, and educate them what has been legalized and what is still illegal.
Okay, so That's it for this edition of Bloggers Forum. But let me take the final words. Let me just first come to you, Zeda. Your final words on the show, and then we wrap.
Basically, with this lockdown thing, there are so many avenues that we have. When you're heading towards Pram on the Adda, when you're heading towards Adda on the Pram Road, there's this building, this affordable housing building that has been lying there since God knows when. This is an avenue whereby, you know, in the slums in Accra, there are so many choked up places and all that. At least they can house some of them in there for the meantime. When this whole lockdown situation is over, everybody can go back to their normal livelihood. Because if you are telling us to lock down Accra, Nima, Mamobi, Choco, please, like the chaos that is going to go on, it won't be good. The heat alone, hey, you won't be able to survive. So at least there are so many avenues, there are so many options for us. There are so many things that can be done. And also, when it comes to this marijuana thing, please, the internet, you have it accessible to everyone. Read and read and read. Don't be too gullible just because a celebrity says something so they are right and you just jump on it. You fall in trouble and you be on your own.
Johnny, final words.
Final words. Look, in my little over 3 decades on this earth, this is the greatest test of leadership I have witnessed in my entire life. And it is up to our leaders to demonstrate that there was good judgment in putting them in the high office that they occupy. For which reason we pay for their rent, for which reason we fuel them and make them their lives comfortable. We are in a global crisis, and it is up to them to make the decision that best suit the interests of its citizens. So whatever decision that they will make, Nana Addo would get all the data and all the advice from his council of elders, from the health expert, from the security agencies, but ultimately he has to make a decision, because some of the experts will even disagree on the direction we should take. But he, as the leader of this country, will make a decision. The ramifications of it or not would fall on his head. Whatever decision we take would have consequences, and he must pray to his God, or whichever God that he serves, to direct him to steer this country to a good direction. Hopefully we are all going to overcome this and are going to be justified in putting these people where they belong. If in times of crisis our leaders cannot demonstrate that they are leaders, then we have no business being there. Then you and I might as well be at the Jubilee House and not them. It's the greatest test of humanity, and all of us must play our part. Elsewhere in Europe, celebrities who have made money, sportsmen and women, are donating to the cause. It is up to the people of this country, people who have been blessed, to also chip in, because this fight is not only for the government, it is for everyone. The churches, the philanthropists, the companies who have made money off the back of the citizens of this country, the people who are in outside or overseas who benefit, etc., multinationals who are in this country who have benefited. All of us must put our hands on deck to ensure that we beat this crisis. Else,
Kwata. Well, there's this cartoon that I saw. Akosia is a dilemma of coronavirus. Some people were Akufo-Addo is President Akufo-Addo is in the middle. On his left, they say, Nana, lock us down. On the right side, they say, don't lock us. So everyone is calling on the president to take an action. Or of course, like Danny said, this is the right time to take the right decisions to save the country. That's how we end today's edition of Bloggers Forum. I've been speaking to Zeda Alexander Fifi Abaka, and he's the man always throwing some granules in the air. He writes for GhanaNyom.com. Daniel Odro is an editor with Ghana Web. My name is Benefo Boabin Abrantipa.